Good morning, children. Our next lesson is Mughal rule. A new age began with the unification of India under the Mughals. The Mughals created an empire between 1550 and 1700 AD and expanded it from around Delhi to all over the entire subcontinent. Their administrative arrangements, ideas of governance, and architecture continued to influence rulers long after their decline. Who were the Mughals? The Mughals were from ruling families of Central Asian countries like Uzbekistan and Mongolia. Important Mughal emperors. Babur, the first Mughal emperor, was forced to leave his ancestral throne due to an invasion by another ruler. After years of wandering, he seized Kabul in 1504 AD. In 1526 AD, he defeated the Sultan of Delhi, Ibrahim Lodi, and captured Delhi and Agra. Humayun ruled from 1530 to 1556 AD. Akbar from 1556 to 1605 AD. Jahangir 1605 to 1627 AD. Shah Jahan 1627 to 1658 AD. Aurangzeb 1658 to 1707 AD. Relationship of the Mughals with other rulers. Around the time when Mughals came to India, there were several kings and chiefs in all parts of the country. The Mughals sought to bring them under their control. They allowed the older rulers and chiefs to continue to rule over large parts of their old kingdoms and collected revenues from them. But these rulers could not wage wars against each other and had to keep an army ready for the use of emperor. Mughal rulers campaigned constantly against rulers who refused to accept their authority. But as the Mughals became powerful, many other rulers also joined them voluntarily. The Rajputs are a good example of this. Many of them married their daughters into Mughal families and received high positions. But many resisted as well. The Sisodia Rajput of Chittor refused to accept Mughal authority for a long time. Once defeated, however, they were given their land back as assignments. The careful balance between defeating but not removing their opponents enabled the Mughals to extend their influence over many kings and chieftains. The Mughals married princes of the local rulers as a mark of friendship. Jahangir's mother was the daughter of the Rajput ruler of Amber. Shah Jahan's mother was the daughter of the Rajput ruler of Jodhpur. Mansabdars. As the empire expanded to encompass different regions, the Mughals recruited diverse kinds of people. Those who joined the Mughal service were enrolled as Mansabdars. They worked directly under the control of the emperor, who could allocate any work for them to do. The Mughals designed a political system in which the Mansabdars could not act independently but had to follow the orders of the emperor. Mansabdars received their salaries as revenue assignments called Jagirs. Mansabdars were transformed from one place to another every 2 or 3 years. Jagirdar. Mansabdar received their salaries as revenue assignments called Jagirs. The Jagirs were administered by Jagirdars. The Jagirdars were too constantly transferred every 2 or 3 years. Next one is Jabat and Jamindar. The revenue system of Mughals was known as Jabat. Jamindars were local headmen of villages or powerful chieftains. Jamindars received share of the revenue collected by the Jagirdars. The main source of income available to Mughal rulers was taxes on the produce of the peasantry. Akbar's revenue minister, Todermal, carried out a careful survey of crop yields, prices, and areas cultivated for a period of 10 years, 1570 to 1580 AD. On the basis of data, tax was fixed in cash for each crop. A closer look at Akbar policies. The broad features of administration were laid down by Akbar and were elaborately discussed by his friend and member of his court, Abul Fazil, in his book Akbarnama. While Akbar was at Fatehpur Sikri during 1570s, he initiated important discussions on religion with the Muslim scholars, Brahmins, Roman Catholics and Zoroastrians. He was interested in the religion and social customs of different people. Akbar wanted to bring together people of diverse faiths. This eventually gave Akbar the idea of Sulhi-Kul or universal faith. Akbar holding discussions with learned individuals of different faiths in his Ibadat Khana. Sardar Sarvai Papanna. Sardar Sarvai Papanna lived during the period of Aurangzeb. He supported the lives of many poor people who were backward and downtrodden. After the death of Aurangzeb in 1707 AD, the Deccan Subedar Kambaksha Khan started losing the control on Deccan. Having seen the weak administration of Kambaksha Khan, Papanna attacked and conquered Warangal fort on April 1st in 1708. Papanna then conquered the Golconda fort during the same period. After Mughals, next powerful dynasty in South India, Asaf Jahis. After the weakening of Mughal Empire in 1720s, the Mughal governors asserted their independence. One of them was the Subedar of the Deccan, Chin Kulik Khan, also known as Nizam-ul-Mulk. He was the founder of the Asaf Jahi dynasty of Hyderabad state in 1724. Nizam-ul-Mulk ruled for 24 years. Among the Asaf Jahi rulers, there were 7 kings who ruled from 1724 to 1948. Salah Jung was the Prime Minister of the Nizams between 1853 and 1883, who imbibed colonial development schemes. The 6th Nizam, Mir Mahbub Ali Pasha's period marked with a number of reforms. However, the 7th Nizam determined to protect the feudal power structure despite the popular movement of liberal administrative reforms. Thank you, children. I will continue the lesson in next class.